Hi, beginning trumpet players. So, this lesson is to help you with a mouthpiece sound and potentially your first three notes if we can get through all of that. I will tell you ahead of time that I am not an experienced trumpet player. All of my trumpet skills have just come from trumpet classes that I've taken. I'm actually a flute player, and so trumpet is not my main instrument. But I've learned enough to be able to teach beginning trumpet, and hopefully, the skills that I have to show you will help you in these first beginning lessons. So, the trumpet is mostly in the beginning about creating a good mouthpiece sound and a good lip buzz, which will create a sound that you can actually create your first note. If you just blow air into a trumpet, it's never going to make any sound. So, what creates the sound is a vibration between your lips, and that's something that has to be practiced. It's usually not supernatural to people who are just starting to play the trumpet. So, what I often recommend is just starting with your lip position that you need. Probably a good idea that your lips aren't super dry. So, here in Maine, we have dry air most of the year, except for right in the middle of the summer. So, before I start playing trumpet, I often wet my lips. And then the other thing you want to keep in mind when you are attempting this lip buzz is that you don't want to fold your lips under. You don't want to actually try to fold your lips like this, because that creates a really, really tight and constricted sound, so that's not going to help you very much. You also don't want to have your lips out like this, because that won't really create a good lip buzzing sound either. So when you place your lips together, some teachers use the word we because that actually pulls your corners back, and then when you close your lips together in that position, we, that creates some muscles right here that you're going to use. These are our lip corner muscles. That actually helps the position of the lip buzz. So if you we and then you'll see a good formation of your lips there. Now, the other thing that's tricky about trumpet is that even when you get that position, you still have to breathe through your mouth. You can't breathe through your nose because that actually creates more tension in your mouth and in your throat. So you actually do have to take a breath through your mouth. So I would try this. Take a breath through your mouth, and then you could actually do that we formation while you're breathing. And then close your lips and you'll find that you have a good position. So that's kind of how the formation starts. Now, when you're blowing air out, when you're exhaling, that's when you want to try to get your lips together to touch, and you want to try to make that vibration happen on the exhale. So you're going to actually take a breath in, and then when you're blowing the air out, you want to try to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze together until you actually feel a vibration between your top and bottom lip. Wet your lips. And then you'll actually see and feel that kind of lip tingle there. I would practice this before you even try it with a mouthpiece, because that will actually help your mouthpiece sound the most. Next is actually practicing it with the mouthpiece. So notice again, I'm going to make the same formation with my lips. This time I'm going to bring my mouthpiece to my lips. Now, some beginning trumpet players actually don't think that you have to push this against your lips. I don't want you to push it hard by any means. But you can't do a lip buzz if you're gently touching the mouthpiece to your lips, because it won't come out that way either. So not forceful pressure, but not like really gentle against the mouthpiece to your lips, because if there's air in between there, there's no sound coming out. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to take a breath, kind of make that we shape with my lip. And then you're going to go back and forth between practicing with your lips and then practicing with the mouthpiece. And that's kind of the sound that you want to get to start. If you notice this kind of a sound, my lips are way too loose. I can actually feel how loose they are on the side. They're loose in the front. That's going to give you a pretty low sound, a pretty fuzzy sound. So we want to have that we formation to get our lip corner muscles working. Okay. Now, say you got a lip buzz going with this. It's a good idea to try to take a deep breath and see if you can get a long lip buzz out of this without it falling. Some beginning trumpet players end up sounding like, well, that relaxes my lips and it brings the pitch down, and then you got a messy sound when you're trying it. So you want to actually hold out that note, maybe for 4 beats. That's usually what we start with. that's usually a good amount of time to start. And again, it's going to take some practice because these muscles are all brand new for you guys who are just starting the trumpet. So when I put my mouthpiece on my trumpet, I'm going to next focus on my hand position. Now, with your hand position, you're going to want your thumb here, and I know this is kind of backwards, so I can show it to you both ways. My thumb is here. I have a thumb saddle. I also have a ring here for my third finger. My pinkies are very, very small, so they kind of just hang out right here next to my ring. You're going to notice that all my fingers are around the valves here, and I have a little bit of weight on my finger here. Some kids make the mistake of doing this. That actually puts extra strain on your hand. You probably don't want to hold the trumpet like this. You want it kind of in there. And you'll notice after a while that this finger might feel a little tired, but you do get used to it. The top hand is going to make that backwards C sign, nice and relaxed fingers. And I want my fingertips to be on top of the valves here. Again, I'll turn this around so you can see the other side. My thumb, I like to have my thumb underneath the lead pipe here, creating as little tension as possible, and then my pinky up on top of this pinky ring. Beginners always do this. They always like lodge it right under here. We like to see it on the top because as I'm holding the trumpet, this is a much more relaxed hand position, and I can push straight down on the valves. I also see beginning trumpet players flatten out your fingers like this, and I have a hard time not pushing down other valves when I do that. So if you want to just, oh look, and that stuck, so perfect. You don't want that to happen. So pushing it straight down will do a lot of good things, including not allowing your valves to stick, and you'll be able to actually hit the valves correctly. This would be, first of all, first valve is closest to the mouthpiece, so this would be valve 1, and then valve 2, and then valve 3. So our first note on the trumpet in the book that we use is the note E, which is definitely a note that can be a little bit tricky. Look, my students are coming in right now. It's a note that can be a little bit tricky to play to start because you do have to have a good mouth position to get it right. I would go right back to, before you play this note, make sure that you have a good position on your mouth and you take a nice deep breath of air. When you put E position down on your trumpet, it's going to be valves 1 and 2, and the note should sound like that. My students learn E, then they learn D, then they learn C in that order. E is the upper note of the 3. It would be like mi, re, do. That would be the mi. So on that pitch, you're thinking of the note mi. When you go to a D, you're thinking re. And then when you're going to C, you're thinking do. So up on mi, you're going to feel a little bit more firmness in your lip than the D or the C. It feels drastic when you're a beginner, but over time it's not that drastic. It's a pretty subtle change. So here's the E again, valves 1 and 2. Same position with your lip. Then when we go to D, we're 1 and 3. And then C has nothing down. Other things you want to notice is that you have to breathe through your mouth and that you're breathing through the corners of your lip. Right when I make that wee position, that actually opens my lips on the side. I'm not sniffing in air through here. I'm not sucking in air through the mouthpiece either. That doesn't really help your overall quality of breath and the amount of air that you need. So I know that's a pretty fast explanation for the beginning. I will definitely do some follow-up videos if that would help any of you guys out there. Yeah, so give it a shot. And my students who are practicing out of your book, we are focusing on page 5 in your book. And then we'll be moving on to page 6, which uses the same set of notes, just changing between those notes a little bit quicker. But this is a good way to get started. Hopefully it helps you. Have a great day.